I'm Charlotta and this is the School of Pattern Cutting. And we've done already a tutorial on both a puffed sleeve, an extreme puffed sleeve and also flared sleeve. But I thought it would be really nice to show you how you can further adapt the same pattern. So what I'm going to show you in this video is how you can use the same principles used for this puffed head sleeve, but make it short. So we're going to shorten the whole sleeve. So it becomes a much more summery sleeve, and then we're also going to put a band on, so you end up with a sleeve which looks like this. Yeah, so you're going to use the same skills, but you're going to adapt it from both your collars and create a completely different look. So let's get drafted. So let's get drafting a sleeve. So this is our original puffed sleeve. What I'm going to show you in this video is how to make another pattern where it becomes short and is gathered at the top and the bottom. So you got a version. So it's quite like dirndl, sort of German traditional clothing, but it also be really nice on a men's shirt to make it less typical men's if you want to wear it, and it'd be quite nice evening, so quite 1970s evening dress as well. So I'm going to show you how to draft your puffed top sleeve and puffed cuff pattern from your normal sleeve. So as always, you need a piece of paper and you need your sleeve. So we're going to just make a short sleeve. So what we're going to do is just draft the top half. So I'm drafting around, I'm marking my notches as usual. So this is a variation of your puffed sleeve. If you want to see the puffed sleeve tutorial, it's in the description below. And it's really detailed, and we talk about puffed sleeves and how they work, but this is more like a short how-to. So I'm going to mark my elbow line, and then I also need to mark my straight of grain. So I need a longer ruler to make sure it's at the right angles. Okay. So this is going to be my straight of grain. Okay. Then I need to quickly decide on the length of my sleeve. And if you look here, I don't actually want it too long. I think I'm going to make it, I want the finished look a bit like this. So I'm actually going to measure my underarm, which is 12 centimeters. And then it's going to be it's going to have maybe a 2 centimeter cuff and be gathered. So it'll be really nice. So I'm going to mark 12 centimeters on both my underarms, and then I'm going to draw a line across. So this is my finished length. Then I need to put them in shaping, and I want to put some volume into my puffed head, so it actually goes up a bit, but I also want to put some volume in here so it can be gathered into my cuff. And I want the cuff to be quite tight. So what you need to do is actually measure around your arm, because the sleeve isn't the width of your arm. So you want to know how, because it needs to sit quite, not too tight, because otherwise you need a buttonhole, but it needs to sit quite tight. So mine is going to be about 25 centimeters. So I'm just going to check how wide this is. So this is 31. So I've got a bit of gather already. I've got 6 centimeters gather, but I want a bit more. So I'm just going to quickly mark 25 centimeter bands, so I remember. And I want to sort of maybe gather 10 centimeters overall, which is actually quite shallow gather, because you always want at least a third extra. So I'm now going to draw in my cutting lines and cut it open. So I'm going to have the same as for my puffed sleeve, but this time I'm also going to open it slightly so I can go into my cuff. So I'm actually doing a mixture of a flare and a puffed head all at once. So with my scissors I'm going to cut along these lines And then I'm also going to cut into here, 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 and here. Again, if you want more detail about why we're having 3 lines instead of 1 and why we need this line, watch our original tutorial. Because I go into much more detail there. So I've cut open all my lines. I'm going to cut against them here so I can open them up. And then I'm also going to cut it off here. But keep that piece of paper because that's what you cut it. I'm going to cut against these, this one, and against here. And this is just to allow you to manipulate the pattern without it all falling apart. So I can now start moving it around. So how I want my pattern to look is, I want this to move up. So I got my puffed hat. But then I also said I wanted to add roughly 5 centimeters more. So it's gonna look like this once it's finished, yeah? But to make sure I got all the measurements right, I'm going to put a piece of paper, pin it on, and then measure everything. So I sort of know I need 5 centimeters in here, so I'm going to pin one down. You could glue it as well. I'm just going to pin it in case I want to change it. And then I measure 5 centimeters here and 5 centimeters here. And then that gives me the gather for my band. And then I want to make sure they're even, so I'm going to draw a cross as well, so I can match up my bottom. So that's my volume at the bottom, at the cuff sorted. Then I could decide whether I want, and now I need to do my puffed sleeve. I need to then also move these again. So I'm just going to cut them apart so I can add more volume. So that's why it's good if you pin it, because then you can change it as you go along. So I'm just cut these apart so I can add more volume. You can see now, this is how I want it to look roughly. So I've got quite a lot of volume at the top, and I've got my 5 centimeters at the bottom. You can see I've also added a bit of volume into these lines. It's just to make it a bit gentler overall. So I'm going to pin all my pieces down, but you could also, if you wanted to, just glue it. One thing I want to do is mark my center straight as well, because that's always important. So that's 2.5 centimeters because I've added 5 centimeters. So it's in the middle of the 2 pieces. And that will also enable me to make sure this gap is the same. So I've pinned one side how I want it. Now I'm going to make sure the other side is equal. So I'm going to have 4.5 centimeters. That's quite a so 4.5, and then I need this to be like this here, so it's identical. And then I need this to touch at the bottom of the front. And then I want the same gap roughly. So that is again 4.5. But can you see, because you're your sleeve head shapes differently, the top and the back, with the front and the back, it looks like it's a different curve. And then what you need to do is redraw your curve. So I'm gonna actually go to different colors, you can see it probably. So this is my new puffed head. I've kept it quite flat, so it isn't that much volume. If you want it to go more up at the top, to be more like of mutton, then you need to add more volume here. But we've done 2 videos already, one for normal puffed sleeve and one for an extreme puffed sleeve, so you can see the difference in those. And we also done a really good fashion chat on Gentleman Jack if you're interested in some really extreme puffed sleeve. So again, I'm going to mark my puffed sleeve edge. And this is going to be gathered to these marks, yeah? And if you want to know the exact length, you would measure it. So that's 4 centimeters plus 6 plus 7.5.
Thanks for watching.
Plus 4. So you would gather this whole distance to 20 to 21.5. So you can say gather 2. And then that will fit into your shoulder nicely. And then once you've done that's your finished sleeve. And then all you need to do is quickly draw your band, which is super easy, which is nice. So we know this needs to gather into the cuff. So gather to 25 centimeters. So all you need to do is quickly, on a separate piece of paper, draw a really simple cuff, which is 25 centimeters long. And in my case, I'm going to make it 3 centimeters deep, so it's quite narrow. Okay, and that's your short puffed sleeve, finished, drafted, ready to twirl. Thank you very much for watching.